Hello everyone, this is Tuğçe. Welcome to my new video. For today's painting, I'm working from a reference photo I found online. I was on Pinterest and just like scrolling, probably you all do time to time. Even though I have like 100 photos saved on my like reference pin already, I just look for the new one. And this one just caught my attention because of the colors. When I look for reference photos, I'm not targeting like specific location. I mostly go for like light, focusing on the light and the colors in it to get inspired, because the colors, I think the area that I'm struggling the most when it comes to make a decision. I have my color palette that I always go for, but I try to like extend it a bit. So it's nice to have some reference photo, even though I'm still playing with the colors while I'm painting. I'm of course making it more. So for this one, I'm using my pencil first to do a very rough sketch, just to decide the like general placing on my paper, but I'm not adding any details. It's really very rough sketch, as you can see. I'm gonna add details with my gel pen and I'm gonna actually make a bold choice with gel pen that I'm gonna use on this video. I have like multiple different ones, then most of them are water resistant, so when I apply watercolor on it, they are not mingling together. It's not becoming muddy. But this one is actually getting along with the watercolor very well, in a bad way. I mean, like, it's directly diluting when I touch it with water, but I like that messy look. And I usually use this gel pen after I apply the watercolor, then add details with it and maybe add a little bit of water on the top of it to make it melt with the watercolor, and it doesn't look, you know, too sharp, so I still keep the watercolor effect there. But this time I decided to torture myself and I'm gonna do all the details with the gel pen first and I'm gonna apply watercolor later. It's a bit risky, I wouldn't recommend it even though I'm doing it, and probably middle of the painting I'm gonna regret that I went this way, like I didn't follow my go-to steps. But yeah, let's see how it's gonna be. I mean, it's good to see that what kind of results you can have when you change the orders of using materials and find a way to actually fix it. We are gonna focus on the fixing problems on this painting. I usually don't use any roller. I don't like when the lines are super straight. I like it more when it's a bit wavy, a bit uneven. It makes it look more natural and real, in my opinion. So I'm avoiding roller. I don't even remember when was the last time I used roller, to be honest. Like probably it was when I was doing those bullet journal videos. There I wanted to be very neat and organized, so roller was my go-to. But like when it comes to urban sketching or anything natural that I'm drawing, like if it's like plants, birds, portraits, even it's like very perfectly round or perfectly straight line, I always try to do it freehand. And I think train my hand over the years that I'm able to do quite straight lines, even though you can't see right now my lines are like all around the place, but I'm comfortable with it. It makes it look more older, ancient, like damaged over the years. And you know, those old buildings, actually they kind of bend on each other a bit, like around Florence or like north of France. I saw so many samples of it also, and it makes it look so beautiful. I don't know if you guys watched this movie called Perfume. It was from the book actually. And they, as I remember right, they recorded on Honfleur. It's a city on north of France, and all those buildings like bending on each other, and it looks amazing. It's so appealing, so I'm a sucker for that. So no roller, as you can understand. I'm adding details here and there. I try to avoid putting so much black, as this pen gonna like melt away with the water. It can create a big mess with the colors, because maybe you know it, but when you mix watercolor with the black, actually it turns the color muddy. Like black is not a go-to color to add shadows, because it's gonna ruin your actual color. When you do the shadows on watercolor, you better use like dark blue, dark red or brown, depend on like what kind of color base you are using, if it's warm or cool that you are going for. So that's what I try to do usually. Like I'm mostly cool color girl, so I use like dark blue a lot for adding shades. But here, as I start with the black, that's gonna get a bit muddy. That's the risk I took before I even started, and I don't know why I took the risk, but yeah, why not? Let's let's try and see what's gonna happen. After I put a like rough sketch, I mean not so rough but not so detailed too, I just know what's where and what kind of details I should add later on. I'm starting to apply my colors. This is the first red I put that I was slow, like it's not really red actually, it's quite like sepia, this old brick color that I'm looking forward at brick details actually, that's my favorite part. But like unfortunately I have to put the base color first, a bit shading, and then let it dry and then apply the bricks, which is the funniest part of the painting for me. I try to combine different colors. Even though I'm following a reference, I'm not really following the reference. I'm taking the parts that I like and I'm changing the other parts. Like mostly I'm leaning towards more darker shades, so I'm using more shadows than the reference. Reference is more like brighter, there are yellows and the pinks here and there. I just avoid them and I replace them with the yellow and blue, like indigo kind of color. But as you can understand, like I'm diluting my colors a lot. If it's not really sharp red or blue, that's something that I want to keep on the painting, I always add like mix the color with almost 60% of water and make it even more transparent, so I can just make changes later and have this faded effect on it. And if you're going for wet technique, I gotta say, if you're going for wet on wet technique, it's better to have the colors very diluted so they are actually mixing together, having this amazing watercolor effect, and they're actually coating on each other. And you can still see both colors there a bit more clear, that if you actually don't dilute your color enough, if you don't use enough water, the pigments are like fighting over the territory and mixing very well. The still watercolor effect gonna be there, but the dilution and fading on each other gonna be less. So I would recommend, if you like the color palette I use and the effect that I'm accomplishing here, just use lots of water and go layer by layer, and always start with the lightest layer. Even though I start with the dark, it's the detail one, but when I'm painting, I'm mostly going for the lightest color I see on the area that I'm painting and adding multiple layers on it. The good thing that my sketchbook is actually quite good. What makes it good is like I love the texture of the paper, that's for one thing, but the thing that is 220 grams, so you can apply a couple of layers without damaging the paper. If you're going for a sketchbook, make sure that it's above 200 grams at least if you like doing watercolors, and if you don't want it to ruin the page before and after, it has to be above 200 grams. If I can find, like I go for 250. The new one I have actually is 270. It's insane. I didn't like the texture of it, that I'm gonna show you the new sketchbook on the next video probably, but it can hold the water. I love it. I just love it. But this one is quite good too. Anyway, as you can see, I can't really wait too long. I'm already starting to applying the bricks here and there. I'm using this flat cut brush. It's actually angled cut. Like you can use flat cut also, it works very well too. And I don't have to do anything. I just take the color and like doing like little chip it doesn't make sense, just sliding the brush from up down, up and down, up and down, and the bricks are just there. Just make sure while you're doing bricks, don't use just one color. Like I start with the dark red and I switch to yellow. I'm gonna add some like in between colors like oranges also, because when you think of the bricks, they are not all the same color. Some are faded, some are more front, some are more background, so they don't reflect the light in the same way. It makes it look more realistic if you use multiple different shades close to each other, of course, like sepia, maybe dark brown, a bit red, dark red, a bit orangish. Depends on what kind of color palette you go, but similar colors, like sister colors side to side, always looks very nice. It makes it more natural. I can't really decide what to do and what to go for, so I'm adding like shades here and there just to understand what is missing, because when it's come to watercolor painting, I have like certain techniques or certain rules that I follow, but when it comes to urban sketching, like more like multiple objects side to side, I need to see them all together to understand like how much more details I need to add here. And in this painting, as you can see, I'm focusing on like one or two building the most, and the one on the sides, I'm just gonna add like slight details on them, but I'm not gonna spend as much as time on all of them. It's gonna give this kind of focus effect, you know, with the camera, like the things on the side or the backgrounds are like not really clear, more like blur. If you avoid adding so much details and avoid using so dark colors, it's automatically gonna fade those parts away. And if you use like high contrast whites and blacks side to side or contrast color side to side on the area that you focus, that's gonna bring it more upfront. So that's a little tip you can use while you're doing things, because sometimes, you know, especially if you're doing like floral painting, there are so many flowers. It's not an amazing idea to pay the same amount of energy on each flower. If you just do the one that closest to you with nice details and colors and contrast on it, you can just add like a little bit of shading, little bit of color and very tiny details on the background ones, and the eye is gonna actually complete it. So it's not gonna look unfinished, it's just gonna look more three-dimensional. That's a little tip. Even though I try to avoid going on details on the other side, I'm still, as they are all on the same line, like I don't have one building closer to me, they're just like side to side. I still have to add some details here and there. And to add like dark shades, I didn't want to just do shadows, like strong shadows, because I was feeling like this is too bright, I need some dimension here. I decided to add some dark plants there, so actually the eye gonna have the decent amount of darker shades, because while you're painting you always have to have balanced lights and the dark shades. It can be more brighter and very few dark or other way around, but it has to be there. Just imagine that you make a photocopy of this painting on black and white, and if it's easy to read it, if there's actual blacks and actual white areas, it means that there is a nice balance between your colors and shades. The contrast has to be there one way or other if you're not going for something so faded or so blur, which definitely I am not doing it. For my liking, this painting is quite colorful. There's so many color going on. I mostly go for like 2 shades and mingle them together, mix them and add some in-between colors here and there. But this one has like yellow, blue, red. It's already too much. Yeah, okay, instead of 2, I'm going for 3, but it already feels like a bit too much. So I have to add like those dark shades everywhere to combine the painting together. Because another thing, while coloring things, if you use one color in one side and don't use it on the other parts of the painting, if you don't actually mean it, if you want it to look more combined, the composition and all together natural, you have to carry those colors all around. Like if there's a red, this red has to be elsewhere on the painting too, so it doesn't look so separated from rest of the composition. So that's what I'm trying here. Like I don't want to really use red on all the buildings, so I'm just adding like little bricks on the yellow building or the other one on the other side, so that I have this feeling like it's more complete, it's more union all together. Like even though I thought that my gel pen gonna melt away a lot, it didn't, because I let it dry a little bit and I didn't use huge amount of water. You can just see here and there it become a bit muddy, but not in a horrible way. But I have to be honest, like middle of this painting, like most of my paintings, I was thinking like, oops, I ruined it. Like how am I gonna save it? It doesn't look good. And it looks so unfinished, messy, and I was just like, yeah, okay, keep going, because I learned this lesson years ago. Like when I come to middle of, especially on portrait paintings, when I come to middle of it, I'm like, it looks so bad. Like how the fuck I did that? Why the fuck I did that too? And most of the time, I just continue, because that's a phase, you know. You hit the rock bottom, then you go up from there. So I used to just give up and restart and do it again and again and again until I realized, yeah, there are some stages while you're painting that it looks bad, and it's okay. You just have to keep going, follow the steps that you actually taught yourself or learn over years, and eventually, let's say in my case, 80% of the time, it's gonna end up looking way better than you thought it would. Maybe because with all of it, you really think that this is trash, but you can still save it. And if you're doing watercolor, make sure you always have a piece of tissue beside you. So if you apply so much like water in some area, or if the color is wrong, if it's diluting with the other color beside, you can just compress the area with your tissue and actually save it. So that's a little tip for you. Okay, even right now, it starts to look way better than I thought it would. I think the white areas and the really sharp blacks saved by us, because with watercolor, I didn't do so much tricks. I didn't, like, beside the bricks, I didn't add so much details while coloring it. I just make sure that I leave some areas quite white. It gives this amazing effect while you're using watercolor, the white areas, and the eye is just gonna completing those areas. It's amazing. I'm sucker for it, so I'm glad I didn't ruin it, because sometimes while I'm painting, I just don't think I'm just painting everywhere, la 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 la, and I'm like, no, why I didn't leave any whites. But here, at least around the windows, like I have decent amount of white, and on the roofs also, like I want to have this unfinished look. So the whites are serving perfectly on this paper. I like it actually when the artists leave like this amount of white and they are coloring the background, so those whites are becoming even sharper. So if you want the contrast to be there even more, you can actually have like gray or indigo kind of background color to it. I'm saying those colors because this painting, even the colors that I use are warm. Overall shading is cool. Like when you look at it, it's not a sunny day. It looks like, because of the colors I use, but actually it's more towards cool colors. So having a like cool color background would add even better contrast and the 3 dimension on this painting. By the end of the painting, I'm using white gel pen also. Even though I left decent amount of whites, I want to add like little flowers and very tiny details here and there. Anyway, here I come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoy watching it and listening to me. Let me know what kind of videos you want me to shoot next, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next video. Ciao!